Ready. Hmm? Good morning. Welcome to Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Jill Clements, and I'm delighted that you're here with us this morning. It is our pre-service meditation time. And today I have a reading for us to get us started before we move into meditation, and it's from Michael Beckwith's 40-Day Mind Fast Soul Feast. And it's called The Touch of Anointing. When you move into your spiritual practice, into those moments of private time with the Spirit, this is when you contact the presence within you. Oftentimes you think that you're going to God to change some condition in your life, to fulfill a material desire or need. But what you're really going to God for is to capture a sense of spiritual fulfillment. When you truly tabernacle with the Spirit, the desire for anything less falls away. Even when your intention is to manifest something material, if you touch the sacred presence in direct communion, you forget any external desire that first drew you into meditation or prayer. This is what is meant by right touching. As you reach within to touch consciousness, the ineffable reciprocates by corresponding, by touching you with the breath of grace. This makes it obvious why you would want to add to your spiritual practice moments of agendaless meditation and prayer. In other words, there are times when you sit and just love God and all that God means to you, having no other purpose than to be consumed by the divine energy of your practice. You touch spirits of vulnerability and experience the truth in Scripture, which says, while they are yet praying, I have already answered. Agendaless spiritual practice transcends the surface tension of separation and lets you become aware that it is God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Now place yourself in a position of receiving. You will be gracious enough to accept God. Experiment with agendaless prayer, meditation, and the laboratory of your consciousness, and discover Spirit's love for you, which is so great as your very life. So this is that time for us this morning, that time to experiment with a prayer and meditation and the laboratory of your own consciousness. So I take a breath this morning, find center, and just begin to follow your breath as we recognize in that breath is all of the power and the presence of the divine, right here, right now, in, through, and as, and surrounding each one of us. As we begin to make our awareness of the space around us, continuing to focus on the breath, feel the floor beneath our feet. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. This concludes our meditation time today. Namaste.
We are doing that. Come together, heart and soul, as we love together. Young and old, we will sing together, together in one song. Come together, from different worlds we are drawn together. In our own way we can pray together. Together we are strong. I see God in you. You see God in me. One path, one vision, one family. Come together, dreams and hands we will join together to build a place we can grow together. Together we are whole.
Please be seated. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Peachy Keen, you look marvelous. It's so good to see you today. Welcome, welcome. I'm Reverend Jill, and I'm delighted to see everyone here. Welcome to everyone joining us online today in virtual community. We welcome you as well. And if you're here for the first time, or you're joining us online for the first time, we have a way that you can keep in touch with us and what's happening at our center. It's a newsletter that comes out on Saturday mornings, and it just updates you on what we're talking about, classes, events, and things that happen, plus some other fun information in there for you. You can sign up online on our website, scottsdalecsl.org, in the lobby, or you can use that handy QR code right there, and it'll take you right to the login. And we are streaming live to Facebook this morning and YouTube. And then those recordings will be posted later this week for you to refer back to. It's a great way to refer friends and family. Also on Wednesdays now, we have a special replay of Just the Talk on Facebook that comes up at 7 p.m. And that's available as well. And you can check in on Facebook, Instagram, all that social media stuff if that's your thing. We would love to know that you're here and your friends, so let your friends know you're here. We have a wonderful community here at Scottsdale CSL, and I would invite you to speak our mission, vision, and purpose statement into service this morning. Our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and community transformation. Our vision is a world that works for everyone. Our purpose is to awaken to our spiritual magnificence. And so it is. And we have some good news this morning. Green roofs go blue. Now, you have probably seen around the Phoenix area some rooftop gardens, trees growing on rooftops and things. Well, in Amsterdam, they've taken that a step further, and they are converting roofs into giant sponges, transforming the city skyline from terracotta tile, concrete, and shingles to green grass and brown earth. It's part of a climate resiliency trend in architecture and civic planning, known as the sponge city concept. Now, I'm in the industry. I haven't heard of this, so that's pretty interesting. The garden of water-loving plants, mosses, and soil absorbs excess rainwater before feeding it into the building for non-potable uses like flushing toilets and irrigation. As a property manager, I tell you that terrifies me, but okay, they say it's working. They say it's working. If heavy rains are predicted, a smart valve system empties the stored rainwater into the municipal storm drains and sewers in advance of the weather, allowing the roof to soak up the water and reduce flooding in the city, which Amsterdam is prone to, right? It's below sea level. And that's why they call it Sponge City. The rooftops of the building can be wrung out and filled up just like a sponge. Isn't that interesting? I thought it was interesting. And they've transformed 11 acres or nearly 500,000 square feet of rooftops. And the engineers say it will also work in dry climates. So we might be seeing something like that here in Phoenix, and it becomes a catchment system. The sponge absorbs and catches the water. The philosophy in the end is that not I like this, but so I got to read it right. The philosophy in the end is not that on every roof everything is possible, but that on every roof something is possible. Yeah, and I think that's a cool philosophy. And again, being in the industry and property management and stuff, roofs are wasted. They're just up there. And so if you can do something with them, the solar panels have been great for generating some electricity. And now this idea is pretty cool as well. So we'll see what Phoenix has in mind in the next few years. And with that, Mr. Daniel will come forward and give us a beautiful opening prayer this morning. Mhm.
Good morning. And thank you for a beautiful meditation this morning.
I like that
Yeah.
reading.
I had some trouble coming back. I was so far gone. I think that's a personal problem.
That's always a good thing.
So I will be available after service for a brief affirmative prayer, as well as our other two practitioners that are disguised as reverends. They'll be available. Also, prayer requests, written, online, call in, emails, whatever. We'll take care of it. And then we'll pray for you for the whole week on whatever you need affirmative prayer for, a variety of different things. So it's, and the service is free, and we're just delighted to do that for you. So please take advantage of that. I have a couple of quotes here from Hafiz. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights up the whole sky. And then there's one more that I really enjoy. I wish I could show you when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being. So let's take those words into prayer this morning, knowing that we are surrounded by this light of love, of joy, of recognition, of gratitude, of all these different qualities. And that we know this light, this love, this joy. We know that energy as God is spirit. And so, whatever name you attach to that, know that it is present. It is present right now. And that everyone within the sound of my voice is connected to that. And that connection is always there. There's no off switch at all. And that it is filled with all these abundant qualities of health, of divine knowledge, of love, of happiness, of joy, and so much more. And is with a gratitude of an open heart that I give thanks for knowing that that is the truth for all of us. I give thanks for this service and the unfolding of the truth as it means to you. I give thanks for the reverends, the practitioners, the volunteers, the board of directors, everyone that comes together to put this together for all of us every day, every week, every month, every year. For our members that support us with love and with financial resources. I give thanks for each and every person that comes together to support us with love, with finance, and knowing that this community is an abundant one. Welcome all belief systems all face. We embrace you, knowing that there are many ways to get to the one, and that whatever you believe in, we say yes and we support you. I give thanks knowing that we are a powerful, loving, creative life force here, and that our message goes out to every place in the world, every place that needs love right now. And there are many. And so we just open up our hearts and give that away to the entire world, knowing that that is the way. Love is the way. Spirit is the way. God is the way for happiness. And we are so transparent to just love everyone. And so it's with this knowledge, it's with this message that I know that every person, every piece of this world is engulfed in this loving embrace that we have here today. I know that's true as I send this treatment into that law that always says yes without qualifications, knowing that that is the truth. And so nothing needs more to be said, done, or thought about because it is so as we affirm together, and so it is.
You are blessed. You are a blessing. 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 You are a blessing. You are a blessing.
And we have just a few announcements this morning, but first let's start with our weekly gratitude. Does anyone have anything that they are grateful for they would like to share in community this morning? Come on, it was a great week. Whoops. You were thinking about it. I could
was
tell.
really thinking about it. Well, I would like for those of you, I wasn't here last week, but I was here online, so I did watch the presentation. But that show we had was fantastic, and I'm still tickled with it and loved it, and it was just a wonderful event. So that still fills my heart. So thank you, Joe.
Awesome. 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 It was great. Thank you. Beverly.
Couple of things actually. One is that the drive this morning into church, I was just so awed and inspired by the beauty of nature. We've got so much gorgeous color right now. The bright red bushes and yellows and pinks and oranges and yellow. I mean, just so much beautiful color in the desert. I was just amazed and love it all. And the other thing I'm grateful for is Hallmark movies. There's no violence. I mean, there's no swearing. They're just wonderful movies full of love and all the virtues, the God virtues. So thank you, Hallmark.
Agreed. Can always find something on Hallmark. Oh, there you are.
Thank you very much. So it just came to me this morning that I am so grateful to be in a place where I can come for hour and a half, 2 hours, and be loved and be loving, and that carries me through for the rest of the week. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Daniel. That was very kind. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and I'm grateful for our weather and patios and live music. We last week after church went to a local establishment, and there was a 13-piece band playing, and lots of people, and everybody happy and outside, and the weather was beautiful, and the music was great, and it was just, what a blessing that we get to do that here. So if you find live music, take advantage of it. It's great, great for the soul. And so May, month of the book. Yep, that's it. May, month of the book. Month of the book is here. And it is called Illusions by Richard Bach. We do have copies available in the lobby if you'd like to pick that up and follow along with Reverend Lee and I. Registration is now open for self-mastery class. I'll be teaching that beginning on June the 20th. And Science of Mind Principles and Practices is what we'll be using. The course is designed to take a closer look at relationships, sense of self-esteem, change, aging, and death as they relate to your whole self. By the end of the course, you'll have greater insight into your true nature as you unveil and begin to heal anything that may be getting in your way of self-mastery. So I hope you plan to join us for that. We will offer that in person here at the center again on Thursday evenings starting June 20th, and it will be available online for our out-of-town friends that like to join us as well. June. Oh, by the way, that's a new course. If anybody's had self-mastery before, they have updated it as of last fall. So I'm excited to teach the new material. June is Bring a Friend Month. Bring a Friend Month. Most of us were introduced to this teaching through a friend, yes, and it's a good time to pay that forward and invite your friends and family to come and join you, be introduced to this teaching. And June 23rd, we are going to have Bring a Friend Bingo. Your board of trustees is sponsoring a little fundraiser and fun party for playing bingo. After service, we'll have some pizzas and salads and little mingle time, and then we're going to play bingo, and it will be a little bit of a fundraiser. That's just one of the many things we'll be doing. We are going to plan a social event of some sort. It may just be coffee and cookies, but we're going to have a social event after every service in June. So plan your Sunday a little longer to hang out with us a little bit after service. Introduce us to the friends that you're bringing, and meet the other friends and each other, and just have some time together. So I hope you plan to play with us next month. After Reverend Lee's talk this morning, he's going to open the mic for any question you might have, no matter what it relates. No. As it relates to the service and his message this morning. And there is a basket of pen and some paper in the lobby if you'd like to take some notes during service so you don't forget your questions. And we love music at Scottsdale CSL, and today we welcome the Brigham Young University Women's Chorus with When You Believe.
Many nights we've prayed with no proof.
Oh boy. Good morning, everybody. Good to be back. A week and a half, almost 2 weeks in Las Vegas. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I just get all the energy. Just wears me out sometimes. So, let's start with a quote from Ernest Holmes that ties to absolutely everything we're going to be talking about today. Ernest Holmes writes in The Science of Mind, to suppose that the creative intelligence of the world would create us in bondage and leave us bound would be to dishonor that creative power which we call God, or any other name. On the other hand, to suppose that God could make man as an individual without leaving him to discover himself would be to suppose an impossibility. This month we're talking about when we were using the book Illusions by Richard Bach, and it's a great story about a man really looking to discover his own creative agency, if you will, and to uncover and to reveal for himself his relationship to the whole, his relationship to the creative force that we call God or spirit or life or whatever name we want to apply to it, to really look inside himself and find out, what is this? What is this thing we do? What is this interaction we have with life? And where does it live? Where is it? Where does that happen? Where does that happen? And to look at life in terms of freedom and look at life in terms of creativity. That's Richard, our main character, one of our main characters. His main concern, it comes up over and over again, is him valuing his freedom more than anything else. His freedom of choice, his freedom to create, his freedom to live the kind of life that he would have, that he would live. And he's out living it. He's flying in his biplane and selling rides, and by all appearances having just a nice time doing what he does and being completely okay, not needing anything more, not regretting or feeling like he's missing out on something. He senses a larger life, and he meets up with Dawn, and Dawn shows him a larger version of living, a more expanded way of experiencing life. So the question I've been posing myself this week, and I would pose to you, is, if you were going to, so I'll just pose it to me, Lee. If you were going to create a life worth living, what would that look like? If you're going to start from scratch, clear the slate, and create a life worth living, a life that speaks to your heart, a life that is really a reflection of who and what you are on the inside, of your highest ideals and ideas of who and what you are, what does that life look like? What's possible? I'm going to let you sit with that one for a while. Because Richard explored that in the book. And if you haven't picked up a copy of the book, go get it. It's worth it. For so many years in the personal growth, spiritual growth arena, we have these quippy little, clever little sayings, right? Dare to dream, think and grow rich, possibility thinking. It is done unto us as we believe. I mean, that's kind of one of the early ones. And we look at them and we say, wow, that's great. I can do that. And we get all excited and we'll go to a retreat for a week. And for about 2 or 3 weeks after, we're all fired up. And we buy, I have a couple sets of these, the whole cassette tape set. How many of you have one of those sitting in your closet somewhere? Yeah. And we get all fired up and excited, and it lasts for 2, 3 weeks. And then reality sets in, right? We run up against our own limited ideas of who and what we are. And the Messiah's handbook in here pops up at one point and says, the original sin is to limit the is to limit spirit. The original sin is to limit the is, what they refer to as God or spirit or whatever, life. And remember that the word sin, all that is, it's just an old archery term that means to miss the mark. So let's not fill it with all kinds of charge and stuff. It simply means to make a mistake, to miss the center of the target, to be a little off. Vincent van Gogh had this to say, and I found this interesting. I had never really thought of looking to the Vincent van Gogh. Do not quench your inspiration and your imagination. Do not become a slave, and it should be my fault, typo. Do not become a slave to your model. And that gave me pause. I had to stop and think about the use of the word model in that context. Do not become a slave to what you have thought yourself to be, or what you think, or what we think we're expected to be. Vincent van Gogh, just a wonderful, famous artist. Do not become a slave to your model. He was painting, he was creating. And in that creative process, am I slave to what life is showing me? Am I going to limit my experience or my possibility to what I have been shown up until now? Am I going to walk through my life being limited by what's already been done? If humankind decided it was going to be limited by what had already been done, we'd still be in caves and we wouldn't have a wheel. Right? If that was the case. We are all about innovation. We are all about change. We are all about growth. We are all about possibility thinking. And sometimes I think I know that I get limited. I have been limited in the past by what has gone before. I was talking about it in another space earlier this morning. 3 years ago or so, I got myself locked into a very comfortable pattern. Too comfortable. Way too comfortable. And I didn't even know it. I'd found myself into this rhythm of life and I was okay with it. And the truth is I wasn't. There was part of me that was looking for something more. And somebody came into my life and kind of tweaked me a little bit and probably saw what I didn't see and said, hey, you might consider da 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 da. What about da 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 da? What are you going to do about da da da? And it's like all of a sudden he stirred stuff up and I'm like, what? All of a sudden possibilities emerged. All of a sudden I decided to step through what had been and not accept what I had been doing as the normal going forward. And I started looking at life in terms of possibility rather than programming. Alan Watts writes this. He says, but to me, nothing, the negative, the empty, is exceedingly powerful. The nothing, the negative, the empty is exceedingly powerful. There's a creative place in us when we're talking about stepping beyond what has gone before, letting go of the way things have been. How often do I really dare to or even consider looking at my life in terms of a clean slate and letting it all go and saying, if I was going to create it today, what would it look like? What's going to bring me joy? What is that empty? What does the empty look like? And even the negative, what Alan Watts calls the negative, or Thomas Troward would say, that is the plastic, universal, subjective space that we create the imprint of that which we desire to be expressed in our lives. That negative image, that inverse image that says, okay, this is the space I want spirit to fill, and it looks like this. It looks like a life filled with love. It looks like a comfortable place to live. It looks like food on, 3 meals a day. If we want 3, maybe somebody wants 2 or 4. How do you want it to look? How do you want it to feel? And how do you want to feel in that space? Is my life worth living? Does it look like a sense of joy? Does it look like peaceful? Does it feel peaceful? Does it feel happy? Does it feel joyful? Do I have a sense of compassion? Am I surrounded by people that celebrate me because I'm celebrating them? Am I surrounded by individuals that see all of me and have room for all of me? It is a space in which I live that says, you know what? This is a space where there's no apologies necessary, where I can simply be me and take up the space I need to find my livingness, to find my healing, to find my joy. Is that what it looks like? We get to create all of this. We say, well, how do we do that? Well, in the book Illusions, there's a little exercise that Donald puts Richard through, and I'm going to invite you all to take part in that for just a couple minutes. Okay. So I'm going to invite, if you're comfortable, and this will be a more expanded thing for those of you online, but we'll see how this goes. If you're comfortable, just let your eyes close. And I would invite you to imagine in your mind a blue feather. And see all the details. You see where the feathering meets the quill, and see it bright blue or dark blue. And then surrounded in like a golden white light, and see it vibrant and alive. And we are drawing that feather to us into our experience. And just feel that feather coming toward you right now, coming into your world. And then when you feel like that's complete for you, hold it in your mind's eye, hold it in your hand. Feel it present in your experience. And then when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Now, I will tell you, you've all got your blue feather, and I'm trusting that those of you out there watching on YouTube or Facebook Live, your blue feather will show up for you. Because here's how this worked. I ordered a whole bag of blue feathers. What day was that? Friday? Friday. And it was delivered yesterday to the house. And we left. And quite honestly, I was not real thrilled with the quality of the feathers that we ordered. But this morning I left them behind, and we got here. I was like, oh man, the feathers, we left the feathers behind. And so I let it go. And then Katie said, well, I can go look at Walmart. And we got these feathers are like so much better. They're like way better than the feathers in the bag at the house. So I'm going to give you all credit for manifesting. These are the feathers actually that I imagined in my mind's eye when I thought about doing this. So together we manifested a much higher quality feather. Thank you. So thank you. Thank you. All this to say that yes, we created this experience together. And so I want you all to take credit for manifesting this blue feather that's in your hand. It may feel a little manufactured and all that, but it's not. We created this experience together. We did. Ernest Holmes writes, or Richard goes on to write this. You are never given a wish without the power to make it come true. Period. You may have to work for it, however. You may have to participate. You may have to show up and engage. You may have to choose to do things a little bit differently. You may have to let go of something in order to create space for that something new. You may have to do some prayer and meditation. You may have to do some journaling. You may have to get out into the world and show up somewhere. You may have to make a phone call. Who knows what you're going to have to do? But it's my life. It's your life. And yes, there's a power greater than we are that is surrounding us, moving through us, lifting us up, showing up as us, for us, that we partner with. Emphasis on that word partner. At the very least, at a mental, spiritual level, there is work for us to do to create the space for that something new to occur. To draw the higher quality feather into your life. See, every time we are given a vision, we are also given the way to make that vision come true. There's a saying that says, along with every vision is the provision for that thing to come into the world. If we're given the vision, we're given the provision to engage in the creative process of bringing that into manifestation. Just like Thomas Trower said, as long as once the end result is secured in mind, the way to bringing that into the world is also secured. Paraphrase. In the book Illusions, he goes on and on and on about, it's a story, it's a book. He goes on and on and on about, yeah, I can manifest this, and yes, we're creating this, and yes, we're manifesting that. And we get all wrapped up in that process, and it's the way of life. It's the way of being that we are deepening to get there. It's understanding that we are partnering with something greater. That there's a quality of imagination that comes into play when what we're doing is engaging in the activity of producing a better life for ourselves, a better life for the people that we're associated with, a better life for our friends and family, for us fundamentally. Richard goes on to say, or the book, in the book, the Messiah's Handbook goes on to say, if you will practice being fictional for a while, you will understand that fictional characters are sometimes more real than people with bodies and heartbeats. Be with that for just a moment, because I know it's like for me, I remember the first time reading it, you're going, what? Think about where they exist. Where do these fictional characters, and how many times for myself, actually, in my imaginings of possible futures and the fear-based thinking that sometimes, occasionally, every now and then, arises in my brain, how real do those feel? Especially when I get afraid. I start imagining possible outcomes as a result of making this choice or that choice or this other choice, or something happens in my world and all of a sudden, worst case scenarios start flying forward. How real do those feel in the moment until we catch ourselves? They feel quite real. To me, they do. And then I catch myself and I'm like, no, we're not going to play this game. We're going to play a different game that says, how good can it be? What's possible if I embrace a more optimistic view of possible outcomes, possible scenarios because of X? If I make this choice, what's the good that comes from it? So I get to entertain the what's good, what's possible, what's the optimistic outlook. Because if not this, then what? If not fear, then love. If not anxiety, then a sense of peace. You see, I get to choose all of that. I get to make those decisions. I get to set new causes in motion. Every time I really embody a belief, I'm setting that new cause in motion that says, this is the loving, joy-filled, prosperous, happy, healthy outcome that I'm going to choose for my life today. This is what I am affirming for me. This is what I am knowing for me. I get to do this. I get to be this. And so do you. Each and every one of us gets to choose differently. Gets to choose to draw into our lives that higher quality blue feather that you have in your hand. And those of you at home, expect that blue feather. Expect that blue feather. So, in closing, what is inspiring for you? What does that life worth living look like, feel like? What is the texture of it? What is all of that? What do you get to choose? What decisions are you going to make about the quality of your life, the quality of your living, the quality of your being, the quality of your expression? What am I going to let go of, and what am I going to receive? All of that is possible. So this week in your spiritual practice, in our spiritual practice together, this is the opportunity. What images of what's possible inspire you? In the still and quiet beyond the chatter, what do you see and feel in your mind and heart? So this week in your quiet time, let's empty and then allow a vision of our life worth living to emerge. How does it feel? What might it look like? And then be willing to open yourselves to what is the first step? How do you participate? So, with all of that, now it's your turn. Questions, comments? Anybody? Online? Anybody online? Type it in the chat. Not a one? Oh.
Only because I'm holding it already.
All right, Jim.
I put a red check mark next to what I wrote down with the end result in mind.
Yes.
And I fail to start there. Always.
Oh.
I think, well, maybe I'll get an idea and maybe I'll try a little of this and see how it goes. But I never actually go to the end result. And that's the magic of it, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would add so there's the end result. And I always liked I own this or something better. This is what I can imagine today. And I always like to stay open to maybe there's something better. Right? Maybe there's something greater that I can't even imagine today, but maybe tomorrow. Right? So thank you. Thank you, Jim. Anybody else? We check in the online chat. Nobody? Nothing. There were quite a few. I mean, before I even got up here, there were like 9 people in there already. I was thrilled. 30? What? 13. Yay. All right, friends. Good. Well, let's take it into prayer then. We'll do this. And so this morning, as we gather together in this moment, we recognize that there is only one infinite power and presence. We call it God, infinite spirit, life, love, joy, peace, prosperity, all of this. It is all of this. And it is in this atmosphere, this energy, this infinite power and presence that we live and move and have our being. And it expresses itself in, through, and as each and every one of us, each and every one an individualized expression of the infinite, a point of light within the mind of God, a point of love within the heart of spirit. This is what we are, each and every one. And we feel it, we sense it, we know it. We know its presence right here and right now. We know this is true of each and every one of us, not just here in this space, but everybody online. Truly is the truth of each and every individual that we see, touch, feel, and experience in our lives. We're so grateful to know this. And so I speak this word of truth for each and every one here, knowing that all is well, that life is good, that the creative agency that we claim and accept and know for each and every one of us is active right here and right now. That love lifts us up to see clearly, that love guides our minds and our hearts to create a life worth living that is expansive and loving and joy-filled. It is filled with health and wholeness and prosperity, knowing that our needs are met and fulfilled to overflowing. That the cycle of receiving and giving and receiving and giving goes on and on and on through each and every one of us. And that we celebrate each other, we support each other, hold space for each other to express the fullness of our being. We're so very, very grateful. And we go forth from this place to bless, heal, and prosper our own lives and the lives of those that we experience and touch every day. In our city, our state, our country, our world, this life worth living is expressed in its fullness through every point. And so in gratitude, we go forth truly into this day, knowing all is well and that life is good as every one of us. And so we let it be. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Reverend Lee. Nice talk this morning. It is time for our grateful giving as we celebrate our abundance and prosperity this week. And Ernest Holmes says, I know that my good is increased and multiplied as it is scattered. I am both an inlet and an outlet for the passage of divine love, life, and power. Wherever I go, then I shall impart the divine blessing which I have received. I invite everyone in the room and online to join us in our practice of circulation this morning. Lots of ways that you can do that online. Excuse me. There's a portal that you can go into for PayPal, and you can make that reoccurring if you would like to have your donation taken out on a daily, monthly, weekly basis, whatever you choose. And you get a tithe ticket then if you are an auto tither with us that you'll have to put in the basket on Sunday mornings. We have a prosperity program called Money Finders. For those of us that like to increase our prosperity, you can focus on all of the serendipitous, wonderful, joy-filled feathers and things that come into your life throughout the week. And you tithe 10% of that here as an acknowledgement to your subconscious of the good that's coming to you. You keep 90% of it, and that then opens up and proves that practice, what we focus on, expands. We also take Zelle now, and there's a QR code that'll take you directly into credit card donation this morning from your chair. At home, you can do that as well, or they'll be in the front desk to accept your cards there. So we have an affirmation if you would join me. Excuse me. I am an open channel through which prosperity flows. I accept the divine flow of goodness, ideas, and substance through me now. I am grateful for my full and prosperous life, and so it is.
Gratitude for me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
Please join me in blessing that which has been circulated here today. How grateful we are to be in this community together, to start our week off together in spiritual practice. I am grateful for all of those who've chosen to give this morning of their financial prosperity to and through this center, knowing that the gift and the giver are blessed, pressed down to overflowing as they step confidently into this law of circulation. I know, too, the Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living is a grateful receiver and good steward of these funds as we continue our work in the world of creating a world that works for all. We are so blessed and so grateful, and so it is. Thank you, Kim. And a couple of closing announcements. If you would like prayer today, you've got 3 of us available to you, so take your pick of who you would like to pray with. Daniel is first in line. He'll be back at the prayer room. And we do have that 24/7 availability to you online through our website. If you would like prayer requests, there's also a prayer chest in the front lobby. If you'd like to leave a written prayer request, we'll take those home and pray with you this week as well. And the 3 of us are also available for spiritual coaching. If you have an issue or something you'd like to work on in your life, we are available to you for that by appointment. Give us a shout out. Next Sunday, we are going to we finish May next week. Is that right? Could that be possible? Ah, gosh. All right. So we'll wrap this one up. Windows and doorways of creative expression. My talk is independence. I know it's a month or 2 months early, but we're going to talk about independence. And we're independent beings, but what happens when in our neediness we lose our freedom? You want to be with us for that. Please stand for our affirmation and our closing song. I live in peace and share my joy. I am empowered by spiritual truth. Today I live an inspired life, and so it is.
There was a time in my life thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God could have. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, gotta let it go. Gotta let it all go. Are you listening? You got to let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I
Hi.